You know, I've always just seen myself as a regular guy, but not so regular, not so ordinary. And why that is, I'm not sure. People have asked me over the years, how do you do it, Alex? How do you keep putting out information despite all the challenges and stuff you've been through? You know, and I don't really have the answers to all these questions, but what I do know is that there is a misconception about me. And I've said in the past, but not recently, one thing that I'm not a fan of is the C word, which is celebrity, simply because I have a YouTube channel. Nor do I think having a website or a YouTube channel is ego-driven, especially when you have something in your own name. We are living in unique times where we have access to these technologies, including the camera that I'm holding, the computer that I'm using. I personally am using solar panels for power to charge my computer, using the appropriate batteries. You know, so I'm creating media on the go. And so that's fairly unique. But that doesn't make me a celebrity. I'm on a certain journey in this life. And I'm sharing aspects of my journey with you. So, what is the real Alex Ansary like? And there is a slight difference between, you know, the real Alex Ansary and perhaps the Alex Ansary on YouTube. I listen a lot more in real life. It's not a show. It's not me just, you know, you pull a cord and, you know, all this stuff comes out. I know that I've met people in the past, people that have, you know, had certain expectations of me, people that were very inspired by maybe a certain show or a rant, and they got a rush from it while watching on TV, and they want to have that same rush by mean the real Alex Ansary, who's a lot shyer, a lot calmer. And I've always resented the word groupie in reference to some of the people that I've dated. But, you know, in another video, I'm going to talk about some of the interesting friendships that I've had and experiences in Portland. But the real Alex Ansary, at least the one right now, very withdrawn for the most part from society. I do not, under any circumstances, promote my work to strangers. In the past, I did. Years ago, before I got to understand more deeply how society treats people that think outside the box, especially people with a YouTube channel. I've seen how many people have thrown me under the bus, if you will. Even people in Costilla County, because some of the thoughts that I have and ideas shared on this YouTube channel, word gets around, that guy is not like the rest. I say it like it's a bad thing. The real Alex Ansary is truly someone who's on his own, in the sense that it's been years since I've had a connection with either my mother or my father. In a physical sense, for many years, at least with my mother, there was a phone communication, and, you know, I'm not going to get into it, but I've grown extremely distant from both my parents. Other than them, don't really have much family to speak of, and so I've actually been going through this experience for a long time. Some could say living in poverty or on the edge of poverty, and the real Alex Ansary isn't a brand. The real Alex Ansary is a human being who has gone through some pretty interesting things in this lifetime because of who I am. And because I haven't been building a business, and I'm not doing a trademark thing like from the ground up, you know, from day one, which is a way you can help yourself pay the bills. And some people have done a pretty good job branding themselves and working on their websites. And you could say that I put my energy into a lot of different places. The real Alex Ansary busted his ass busting tables for the first 5 years of Outside the Box TV. And that was a very strange experience for me. And it was also very strange for some of my coworkers. You know, I'm a lower man on the totem pole. I'm a bus boy. I'm a server's assistant. And yet I'm discussing some things that they don't understand. And so it was awkward during those years for the real Alex Ansary to endure. The real Alex Ansary has been experiencing things like synchronicity, like I have everything that I need, I don't have everything that I want. And that's a deeper subject. And so I can see how the universe provides. I can see in my own life how the universe also, whether you use the word punishes or brings you back your karma, I've certainly seen my own karma handed to me much earlier in my life, and I've seen what I would interpret to be an intervening force. Multiple times, I've counted at least 4 or 5, where I could have left this planet, could have died, something bad could have happened, and there was some sort of intervening force, and this was before me starting Outside the Box TV. The real Alex Ansary doesn't really identify with being from anywhere at this point. I am from Earth, and that's all anybody needs to know. Where are you from? I'm from Earth. Where are you from? Are we from the same place? Are we from the same planet? But I'll tell you, the real Alex Ansary has gone through a number of things that most of you will never know in a million years about people asking me where I'm from with a very suspicious tone. The real Alex Ansary lives in a society where people are in denial about that fact because they don't want that fact to be a reality. The real Alex Ansary has been traveling for many, many years, even when I was living with my mother. There was a lot of travel during that period. And for the brief period that I lived with my father between 1996 and 1998, there was a lot of travel there. It's as if traveling, as well as questioning the stars and questioning our reality, but traveling, it almost seems to be ingrained into my very DNA. For whatever reason, be it a blessing or a curse, there's certainly a lot that I've learned through my travels. And the real Alex Ansary is a person that's very different than the Alex Ansary that other people perceive. People have perceived that I must be an agent or something to that effect if I have been taken out. Or people assume a lot of really insane things. But you know, it's fascinating in my own life how long I've been alive and doing what I've been doing without those things that people assume would happening. You know, things like being killed, hurt. You know, there's a lot of, when you're in the realm of conspiracy research, people start talking in certain ways. Especially certain people that are content consumers, not creators. It's always from a fear-based perspective and very suspicious of everyone in the truth movement. And so the real Alex Ansary has had to deal with people's fears. For example, there's been a lot of people over the years that have assumed that if I park near their place or if I'm their friend or associated with them, that something bad would happen to them, like FBI kicking the door in. And this actually happened recently. So the real Alex Ansary has had a lot of people make assumptions about bad things happening to them if they were to know me, help me, period. And I've now come to accept that. The real Alex Ansary is now okay with that. And because of all of the loose cannons that I have met, there's been a lot of good people also that I've met over the years that have reached their hand out in friendship. But I'm also a lot more cautious when it comes to meeting people or going to someone's house. Right now, I'm a lot more independent and self-sufficient and self-reliant, and I have a part-time job that is now requiring more of my time, and so donations help, but I'm not dependent on them. But I certainly, the real Alex Ansary would certainly like a ticket outside the grid and be able to build my home on my own land and bring a sense of security to my future family. So, you know, the real me is a regular human being that has sought to share his outside-the-box ideas on video through different formats. And that's who I am. It's not about being a celebrity or trying to put you down, even though I may use strong language here and there. It's about being who I am, and I'm still in a process of discovering that. And I do believe that we evolve by sharing our truth, especially when that truth can be used to unlock doors that were previously locked or hidden, to shine the light on a certain truth. I believe that's part of our destiny when it comes to what we're doing here on this planet and what are we doing as human beings in this matrix. The real Alex Ansary, for my own sanity, has to go beyond identity with race. With my background and the assumptions that people have about people from certain countries, I've lived my whole life the real Alex Ansary, with my birth country, my home country, the United States, occupying the birth country of my father, Afghanistan. It's actually, the real Alex Ansary lives in a world where it's awkward for people to actually even know someone that will admit that their father is from that part of the world. People would rather I just say that I'm white. It's awkward for people. It's awkward for people. And they don't know what to make out of it and whether it's actually safe to be around. And I'm not saying that's the case for all people. That's certainly the case for some. For whatever reason, my soul probably, possibly, if everything happens for a reason and we pick our parents, I picked this incarnation for a reason. And I'm trying to use the time that I have while I'm alive, and I've been granted the safety, and I'm grateful for that, to use the time while I'm alive to share the truths that are inside me. That's who I am. That's the real Alex Ansary. Okay? There doesn't have to be ego attached to that, or a special agenda, or to be if I don't say all the right things, doesn't mean I'm an agent. I talk about the things that I feel need to be brought out into the light. There are other things that other people are talking about that are already being talked about by them. I need to talk about the things that aren't being talked about and the things that my heart has inspired me and led me to talk about. From what I feel that I know inside me about the sun, to my geopolitical analysis and my warning for the future of America, to scoping out amazing off-the-grid locations throughout America and reporting back to you guys on YouTube and giving you, a view of what another part of America looks like. A less populated part of America. A less densely populated, full of angry people. Less of that, more space, more sun, more fresh air, colder temperatures. This is literally a living, breathing example, I am, of a trade-off. Dealing with colder temperatures, but a healthier environment in the long run. I feel a responsibility to warn people about their attachments to the grid because the vulnerability of the grid itself today. And that's also why I've done my Portlandia series, to warn people against selling everything that they own and quitting their job and moving to a place like Portland, Oregon, or making another unfortunate mistake, moving somewhere that ultimately isn't going to bring them happiness. Happiness comes from within. It doesn't necessarily come from moving somewhere, but moving to places where you can be closer to nature, if that's what makes you happy. I know I'm happier being closer to nature than being in a city. Then that is something that you should do. This video isn't about giving advice, but it is a little bit more about the real Alex Ansary, the one-man army, the man that travels without an AK-47, the guy who's not a gun nut, who has a certain amount of faith in the universe that I will be all right by doing the right things. Some people call me superstitious, some people call me crazy. I'm the real Alex Ansary. When it's time for me to leave this planet, it'll be my time to leave this planet. And I may be blessed to remain on this planet in good health for longer than what I am currently aware of. And it has hit me more than a few times that there is so much more work to do. And there certainly is no point now in being afraid of certain things happening if in the past I can identify moments where something did intervene to keep me inside this matrix because it was not my time. Certain people might be surprised that certain bad things haven't happened to me. And then at the same time, some people might be surprised that someone like me would face certain challenges, be it economic or otherwise, that someone like me would be living their whole life, most of their life single and on their own, going their own way. So, you know, I can't explain everything to you about the real me because the real me still to me is an enigma. And the more the false sense of us erodes away, the more we can see the real us that remains. So with that, I will bring this video to a close. It is the 5th day of February in the year 2016. And the real Alex Ansary will talk to you again soon.